Yo, 2026 and the link is feeling cold. Stories of a super runner getting kinda old. Jalen under fire, say his vision's getting tight. Calling them uncoachable every single night. AJ in the tray, got me in my field. Mr. Hollywood is the brownest on the field. Man, he ain't calling plays, I be searching for the spark. Eagles flying solo, hunting shadows in the dark. Vrabel and Russini trying to launch a master plan. Ever since the photos got you sitting with the fans. Draft day approaching, how we sitting on this perch. Gotta fill some holes, so you know he's on the search. 10 toes down with the Eagles on the scene. Watching out for Cap, cause your boy is bleeding green. Searching through the trending topics, info moving slow. Pro fan talk, always keep you in the know. Pro fan talk. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. Pro fan talk. With the real ones bar. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all. Pro fan talk. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. Pro fan talk. With the real ones bar. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all. Pro fan talk.
What's going on, y'all? Hope y'all like the new intro. Leaned into some of the trending topics. What's going on? So hope you like it. Hope you appreciate it. Put the thumbs up in the chat if you like the music. Trying to keep it moving. See, Carlos, everybody got jokes, bro. We're going to get into that. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate that, man. Love feedback on my stuff, man. You know, I'm big with the graphics and all that kind of stuff. Yes, that is Suno. No, I cannot rap. I did write the lyrics, but that is Suno AI, and the stuff that they doing is crazy. So, you know, I can get something to create something with my 90s era hip hop, 80s era hip hop with a soulful spin on it and scratching, you know, what I grew up with. So that's cool. So I don't even try to fake the funk. Yes, that's AI, but I did write the lyrics. And it takes you a while. The thing with AI, just a real quick rant. The thing with AI is you can do all of this stuff, but if you ever notice, all of these these services, you don't just sign up for a service. You sign up and you get a monthly allotment of points. And every time you do something, create a picture, create a song, create a video, you use up X amount of points. And the problem is AI doesn't know what it's doing yet. So you might do something, you might try to create something, and it might take you 15, 20 times to get it right. So that's how they make their money, because every time you try to do it, you're using up your points and all that kind of stuff. So, but in any case, glad you like the music. It took me a while to get to that point, to get the sound that I was looking for, man. But I appreciate the feedback. Out there in them streets, out there in them AI streets. That's what's up. But appreciate y'all, man. It's been a busy day, man. I just went live on my Pro Fan Hoops channel. I was talking about the news with the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever getting their signings, and Dejounte Carrington's going to Chicago. Indiana just signed Monique Billings. So it's a lot of stuff going on with all of the teams. So and the draft is tomorrow. So, but I wanted to get into this Dianna Russini thing for the last time, not for the last time, but I just wanted to I heard Dan LeBatard's show, and I kind of wanted to get into that just for a minute, because I was like, why is it he's friends with Dianna Russini, so he was really struggling on what he should do. And I'm like, is it that serious? I mean, I don't say it to say it in jest, but I was like, it's not that hard to figure out. So you want to give her the benefit of the doubt because that's your friend, and that makes sense. But you can still keep it real. You can still, his thing was, how does he approach it and be fair in being a traditional journalist when it's your best friend? He kept saying he was trying to be careful. He didn't want to do that. And I guess he was insinuating going straight to the salacious tabloid type stuff. And I understand that because that's his friend. But I was like, it's not that serious. It can still be it could be your friend and you can feel uncomfortable about the situation, but you can still look at it for what it is. You can still say, that's my friend and I'm uncomfortable talking about this, but that wasn't a good look. That wasn't a good look. Because isn't it your closest friends are the ones that should check you, should call you out like, yo, I'm your boy. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was some bullshit. I'm your girl and I wouldn't lie to you. That was some bullshit. So, but he was trying not to lean into the salacious and tabloid type stuff. But at the end of the day, you can still call it like you see it. And I guess he was stuck on, feeling some kind of way because that's his friend. And I understand that. Everybody's been through that situation. Everybody's been through a situation, whether it's friend, family, whatever the case. And you like, yo, that's my boy, that's my girl. We like this, we've been friends since knee high to grasshoppers, all that type of stuff. And then something happens. Something happens. And then what's the first thing that you always say? Man, I had no idea. Why would they do that? I don't know. I ain't never seen him act like this. I ain't never seen him do nothing like that. They never act like that around me. And I've been knowing them for years. And at the end of the day, the one thing that's always true is you never know what's going on in somebody else's house, regardless of how well you might know that person. You might be in their house and you still don't know that person. You don't know what they do behind closed doors, whether it's their house and you can't get into their house, or if you living in their house, what do they do in their room when they got their door locked? You never know what's going on in somebody else's house. You never know what's going on in somebody else's mind. Because let him tell it. I vouch for Dianna Russini, and that's my friend. And there's a lot of people who still back her for what happened. So I understand that because that's their friend. And if, like I said, if it was friends or family, a lot of people would feel the same way. But it's so obvious because I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. What's the benefit of the doubt? Because here's the flip side of it. If those photos were never released, obviously we wouldn't be having this conversation. Obviously nobody would know, and he would still be doing the same thing that they've been doing. And I say it like that because obviously that ain't the first time they did it. So they would keep doing it. And if you look at the pictures, they going through standard operating procedure like they ain't got a care in the world because they didn't think they was being filmed. That's why. So it is what it is. And he don't want to call it what it is because that's his friend. And again, I understand that, but your friends, your closest friends should be the ones that's checking you, right? You ain't supposed to get along with your friends and your family all of the time because you get into arguments with your friends and your family. That's why they're your friends and your family, because you can get in arguments with them, go through what you go through, and then you circle back around and you still friends. The one thing you can't argue with is the truth because it'll always come back as the truth. Friendship, true friendship, is the truth because it'll always circle back around. And I saw this today, and I wanted to bring this up because this is part of the conversation. Do you think the Patriots' Mike Vrabel should be suspended if he had an affair with Dianna Russini? No. There's a hell of a lot of coaches that have done a hell of a lot worse than cheating on a spouse. And last I checked, that ain't against the law. You might be morally bankrupt, but it's not against the law. It's a bad look, but it ain't against the law. What I am worried about, and this is the one thing that nobody has mentioned. Nobody says this. At least they've mentioned it, but they haven't put it like in this situation. I care about should Mike Vrabel be suspended if he had an affair with Dianna Russini? No. Should Mike Vrabel be suspended if he was supplying Dianna Russini information about the A.J. Brown situation? Yes. Absolutely. because that changes things. That changes things. So when I'm listening to Dan LeBatard and he's lamenting, talking about this with his friend because he don't want to throw his friend under the bus. And let me be honest with you, in my opinion, the only way he's feeling some kind of way about this situation, because if he thought without a shadow of a doubt that this did not happen, he would say it. But he doesn't know. That's why you feel in some kind of way, because you looking at the situation and you putting 2 and 2 together and you looking at the receipts and it ain't looking good. Again, you can argue with the truth, but it's going to always come back to truth. It ain't looking good. And again, he don't want to call his friend out on the carpet because that's what everybody else is doing. On top of the people that don't care about Dianna Russini are the ones that are adding their little jokes to it, all of that type of stuff. And you know that comes with the territory. And what's up, Ian? And I said it before. Like, Dianna Russini's gonna be fine. She's gonna be fine. It might take her a minute to get there, but she's gonna be fine. Because here's the thing: you don't like how she got the information. You don't like how she got the information. But also, you got to remember this: there were so many people that saw something going on even back when she was at Tennessee, but did nobody call her on the carpet. Now they feel they are obligated to call her on the carpet because now they got pictures to back it up. So, everybody got stories like, when I was back in Tennessee. And well, guess what? If you was that sure about it, why didn't you do it back then? I showed you before, the dude on his podcast said, when I was covering Tennessee and they were in the Super Bowl and Dianna Russini said, me and Vrabel are coming, I was going to expose them. I was going to tell them to get their story straight. They got 24 hours. So even back then, if you were bold enough to even mention that, he said it never happened. So what are you going to do with that? But just to be able to have that train of thought, you ain't got no concrete evidence. This is just what you think. So everybody's going to pile on. But like I said, I think Dianna Russini going to be just fine. It's just going to take some time. Because if I was her, I would be getting my producers together for this either the next job or when she start her podcast. Because everybody will be tuning in. And guess what? If it's 1 million people watching to trash her and it'll be toxic, the only thing she got to do is turn off the comments and she's still going to get the traffic. That's the thing with today's social media and all that kind of stuff. Whether they love you or they hate you, they still watching. And if you watching, you paying. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Pat McAfee called Caitlin Clark a white bitch on his show. What happened to him? Not nothing. So she'll be fine. Like I said, it's thank you, Kwame. Nail on the head, bro. It's all about the dollars, man. It's all about the dollars. So it gets the toxicity is gonna come. Anyways. And here's the funny part. Yes, it's a double standard when it comes to guys, because you think guys ain't doing this? It ain't nothing that hasn't happened forever. So yes, it's a double standard. That ain't nothing new. But like I brought up that thing with Vrabel, it's just not getting to the point where Vrabel's finally, the heat is finally getting to him. He was supposed to have a press conference, get ready for the draft, and he skipped it, probably on good authority. Because you're talking about, look at the Patriots and all of this shit they got going on with Bill Belichick and the stuff that Robert Kraft done been involved in, and now you got Vrabel. They a triple threat. They are a triple threat, and it's a whole lot of mess. And they trying to cover up for him. They trying to keep Vrabel quiet so he don't have to deal with it. But eventually he gonna have to deal with it. He gonna have to come out with a statement. And guess what? If it wasn't what it was, it would have happened already. They would have been came out and said, "Y'all full of this ain't it." Blah 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 blah. The one thing you're not gonna do is lie on me. I don't care what it looks like. You ain't gonna lie on me. Because if somebody's lying on you, we going with it. We going through it. If you gonna lie on me, let's go. We taking it to the trial. I'm 10 toes down with it. And they haven't, neither one of them have done it. Because even the people that are naive enough to say those photographs could have been anything and blah blah blah. Even when they said that, and it was like, stop it. Put yourself in that situation with your wife, with your husband. It's not a good look. And everybody's trying to go around the round robin way of trying not to indict her and all of that type of stuff, because it makes women look bad and all of that type of stuff. And guess what? It's still truth. It's still the truth. Where can you get the new song? Just download it at the end, bro. What's up, Robbie? That's a good question, Yoshiwara. That's a great question. How can her reporting now not be biased toward the Pats? How come it wasn't biased towards Tennessee back in the day? Nobody called her on the carpet. That's what it was. Nobody called her on the carpet. But clearly people knew something was going on because it was the same thing. And somebody brought up a good, I think it was on Dan LeBatard's show. Somebody brought up a good point that said Dianna Russini was the preeminent person to break stories about Tennessee. When Mike Vrabel left Tennessee, it was no more stories broken by Dianna Russini. So you start putting two together. It ain't hard to figure out. Once that domino fell, people start connecting the dots, and it ain't hard to figure out. She loosey-goosey like that. She got one of them personalities where you ever met somebody and they say some things and they might yuck it up with their spouse, but if you try that same joke in that same setting, boy, your husband or wife would light you up. Like, don't play with me like that. She can get away with that, but you ain't gonna get away with that with me. Dianna Russini was that type of person. Some of the jokes and some of the things that she said, cracking jokes on her husband, he's average, all of that kind of stuff. And let me be honest with you, that's in jest. You know it's in jest, and you know it's tongue in cheek. And she's one of them people, and you got to take it for that. The only thing that she said while I kind of gave it the arched eyebrow is when she said on air, she was on a radio station with Brian Mitchell from the Redskins, and she said on air, "I want to be known as a MILF." And I was like, what the hell? Like, that's some not safe for work stuff. I'm surprised it didn't get bleeped out. But maybe it was a podcast or something. I don't know. But I was like, why would you say that? Like that, like if a dude called you that would be disrespectful. And that dude would probably be disciplined. And she threw that right on out there. And it's like, oh, she rocking like that. Okay, that's how she get down. And people knew that all the way going back when she got in the fight with Britt McHenry when they was both screwing Sean McVay. So she was always about that life. And just when you get to a certain position, you know, when somebody show you who they are, believe them. They just forgot about it. She had done enough decent work where they forgot about the situation with McVay and Britt McHenry. They forgot about that. That don't mean it didn't happen. So, you know, it is what it is. And everybody's calling it for what it is. Again, people get toxic and all of that type of stuff. That don't mean it ain't the truth. It does not mean it's not the truth. So I don't know. And you know who? Somebody asked the right question. Who hired the PI? My money would be on Vrabel's people, Vrabel's wife, maybe. Because what organization didn't want the AJ Brown trade to happen that bad so they would do something like that? I don't think this has anything to do with football. I think this has everything to do with his personal marriage. In my opinion, I think maybe it was Vrabel's wife or something like that that fired off. I don't know. You haven't heard anything, so we all just guessing. I don't know. But it wouldn't surprise me if you hear about divorce proceedings and settling out of court and things of that nature after all of this settles down. Because now this is and a big reason why Vrabel's not saying nothing is because this is going to take over the draft. This is going to overshadow the draft. That's why they're trying to make it die down. They don't want Russini saying shit. They don't want Vrabel saying shit. What do you think is going to happen at the draft? What's the over-under on how many times the Patriots are on the camera? You know how they show them clips of the war room? What's the over-under on how many times they show Vrabel? And if they do show Vrabel, if they don't bring it up, that means they've been instructed not to bring it up. Because if it was anybody else, they would. You ain't got no problem when the potential draftees, if they got in trouble with the law, y'all bring that shit up with the quickness. He got in trouble in 2021, was arrested on a drunk driving charge, but he's been a model citizen since then. Well, then why'd you say it? Why you even bring it up? Or such and such, his father was in trouble, or that has nothing to do with him as an athlete. Why'd you bring it up? Y'all ain't got no problem bringing that shit up. No problem. Now you got one of your own. What you gonna do? And the silence is so obvious. So obvious. The silence is so obvious. So that's the way that it is right now. And, you know, back to Dan LeBatard, he's feeling some kind of way again because that's his friend. But you can still be a friend and still say, yeah, I hope she didn't do that. But that the optics of this is not looking good. But if you listen to Dan LeBatard, sometimes he can come off as a crybaby. That's just his personality. And I'm not trying to say that to be disrespectful or demeaning of him, because I like Dan LeBatard. I liked him when he was on ESPN. I liked him when he got his own show. I liked him when he was doing the thing with his dad. I thought he was good, and I thought he was. Sometimes he can be mellow, emotional, but that's just his personality. The thing I like about that is he speaks from the cuff. It's coming from his heart. So you know he ain't trying to bullshit you like a lot of these other people are. But at the same time, you know, he was part of the machine, and then he tends to bitch, moan, and complain on how the machine runs now. That's just the way that it goes. He's old school, but he was one of the first ones to tap into the new school way of doing it. He was one of the first ones to get his podcast out there when he left ESPN, when he got fired. So he brought his dad on and started he got it made. He got it made in the shade. He's not as big as some of the other ones, but he ain't trying to be. He's staying in his own lane, doing it his way. And I like his stuff. But you ain't got to sugarcoat what it is. Say what it is and keep it moving. Because the more you talk about, I feel uncomfortable because that's my friend, the more noise it's going to make. Say what it is and keep it moving. That can still be your friend, and you can call it like you see it. So I like Bomani, but Bomani is like anybody else. Good days and bad days. Some days I like what he says. Some days I don't. And I've gotten good at just turning it off. I don't care if it's Bomani, LeBatard, Stephen A., Acho, Marcellus. Doesn't matter who it is. If they say something that I don't agree with, I can listen to it if I don't agree with it. But to me, you got enough of these people that they come off with that I know more than you attitude. And then it gets hard to listen to. Or you got one of the people that just likes to yell all the time, like Cam Newton. And Cam Newton sometimes has really good stuff to say, but he's got to say it. He just can't yell it, because the minute you start yelling, I'm out. That's why I stopped watching Stephen A. Smith. You get the yelling and you get that attitude, and it's like, after a while, I'm like, I'm good, dog. I'm good. I know you're smart. I know you know what you're talking about, but after a while, it's like, I'm out. Ain't it? What did Common say? If I don't like it, I don't like it. That don't mean that I'm hating. And that's what it comes to. That's why I make it a point to say, everybody in this chat, if I say something that's wrong, check me. Put a link in the chat and say, nope, right here. The other day, I was talking about the women's national championship game. My great grandson was here with me and Roman. And I was talking about looking forward to watching the game with South Carolina and UCLA. And I'm talking like the game was the next day, when in actuality, I had missed the whole first quarter of the game. And I'm like, if I miss something like that, check me on stuff like that. So that's cool. What do I say? I'm about to get some t-shirts made. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. I like Bomani. I know a lot of people that don't. I like LeBatard. I know a lot of people that don't. So it ain't always going to be your cup of tea, and that's cool. It is what it is. Just because, and I think a lot of people do that these days, and I think that's problematic, again, because I'm from the old school. When I played with the Eagles, the beat reporters had to come and be at your locker, and that was it. Nowadays, the reporters that are at your locker and they interview you, they can post that on their social media before they leave the locker room. Like, do you know how fast that turnaround time is? Back when I played, they came in with their little portable recorders. They recorded the questions. Then they had to go all the way back to the Philadelphia Inquirer or whoever they wrote for, had to type it up, get it edited, submit it, all of that type of stuff. It was a whole process before they could release information. And on top of that, the accountability of it all. If you wrote something bad about us or one of the players, you had to come see us. And that tended to keep people in check, or at the very least, keep them honest. If I didn't like what you wrote, I can question you next time you was at my locker. Yo, why you write that about me? What? And they better have an answer. There was a lot of uncomfortable conversations at the locker room. Go back and go to YouTube, look at the famous Bobby Bonilla interview with the reporter that wrote something about him, and Bobby Bonilla was ready to fight the dude in the locker room. That was a whole big thing. Like, Bobby Bonilla was ready to throw down. But my point is back then you had an accountability. So whatever that dude wrote to Bobby Bonilla or wrote about him, he knew he had to go back in that locker room and look at him face to face. So whether he was right or whether he was wrong, there was a level of accountability that existed back then. It doesn't exist anymore because of social media, because you got people writing shit and they writing stuff about the Eagles and they live in California. They writing stuff about the Jets and they live in Arizona. They don't know what the hell is going on in New York and in Philadelphia. And then, they don't know what's going on the West Coast. They writing based on narratives and hearsay that they getting from one call to the next call or looking at social media posts. You can tell, like, I used to like Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd needed to work at IHOP because sometimes that joke could be flip-flopping so much It's worse than making pancakes. So, and y'all know my thoughts on that. Like, I used to like Cowherd, but now he's a narrative driver, in my opinion. He drives the narratives. Whatever the popular narrative is, he'll roll with it. But what they do is they'll say just enough to go opposite of the popular narrative. So if it does go left, you got just enough content to say, well, I said this way back in, you've been negative. And if it doesn't work out, you got a 20-second clip of you saying just the opposite so you can save your ass. That's what it seems like to me that a lot of these guys do. They talk on both sides of the fence. And now you got receipts, so it's easy to figure it out. So, yeah, Philly media is they're not exempt. Absolutely, Philly media is not exempt. I got a problem with Philly media and Philly fandom to a degree. And I'm saying that specifically from the shit that happened with AJ Brown this past year. How everybody was crashing out about the tweets and reading the book and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, is this the same Philly fans that no one likes us, we don't care, and all of the, the hardcore Philly fans and we from fucking Philly and all of that stuff. And I was like, y'all getting real thin skin lately. And I don't understand it. You can not like it, but people were crashing out. And then you got the diva talk and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, do y'all remember where we are? We in Philadelphia, son. We were ground zero for the Terrell Owens sit-ups in the driveway. We were ground zero for that shit. And everybody tends to forget. And you got a nerve to say reading the book on the sideline is diva behavior? Man, you better get the hell out of here with that. You know better than that. Y'all know what diva behavior is. Y'all know what it means when Donovan McNabb came out the tunnel playing the air guitar in Dallas and then played a stinker. We know what that is. And having that knowledge and then crash out because we don't like his tweets. Well, how many catches did he have on the field? Did he catch a touchdown? Did they throw him the ball enough? Let's look at the real problem we was having. But no, we want to put it on AJ Brown because he said the offensive passing game needs to get better. He ain't never told no lies. He never did tell a lie. Everything he said was spot on. You just didn't like you shot the messenger. You shot the messenger. So I was like, we need to lose that Philly thick-skinned, like, come on, man. Y'all acting like damn San Francisco fans or something like that, man. Get out y'all feelings and understand what's going on. Everybody talking that shit about they want AJ out of here. Like, okay, be careful what you wish for, because if whoever they get in here don't add up to AJ Brown, we got a problem. And even though we know Devontae Smith is that good, can he be that good when all of the attention is on him? So I'm trying to keep it real. I don't like when Philly fans are crashing out over silly shit. As much as they degrade us and as long as they put us down. When I played for the Eagles, the running joke was they used to joke with Eagles when I used to see friends and other guys that played pro ball and stuff like that. The joke, and this is 1993, 93 and 94. The joke was, remember the candy, the ring pop? They used to say the ring pops was the closest thing Philly was going to get to a ring. I played back when those jokes was happening. So I played in the vet and everything that came with that, the jail under the stairs and all of that type of shit. We was the laughing stock of the league. Veterans didn't want to come to Philly. In 93, we signed, I believe it was that year we signed Tim Harris. Tim Harris was a defensive end for the San Francisco 49ers. But at that time, and again, this is before social media and all that kind of stuff, Tim was the first guy I remember that used to get in trouble on the regular for like drunk driving and drinking too much and all of that type of stuff. If he would have played with social media existed, he wouldn't have lasted. But we got him. And I can tell you stories about him, like from personal stuff like that. But I remember when he got to Philly, we were at camp and he was talking about the vet and he was comparing the stuff that they had in San Francisco compared to what we were offering the facilities, even at an old place like Candlestick. But the facilities and what they did for them in San Francisco with all their Super Bowl rings with Joe Montana and all of that versus what we were doing in Philadelphia. And it was night and day. He was like, ooh. It was like he was turning his nose up. And it was the truth. It was the truth. So I'm saying all that to say, I come from those days. And I see what Jeffrey Lurie has done since and where we are. And we are the destination franchise. Veterans want to come to us to get one more shot of winning or one more shot at the Super Bowl. And they want to come here. And this new era of fandom have no clue. They hear the stories, they watch the videos, they don't pay attention because they still cracking jokes about throwing snowballs at Santa Claus. And they don't even know the real situation behind that. So we got to deal with that. I come from those days. So I understand what I'm seeing. And I understand how much better it is and what type of organization it is and going to the Super Bowl 3 times in 5 years. And y'all mad because you don't like his tweets. Y'all better get the hell out of my face. Because even when we did have the ultimate diva behavior with Terrell Owens, do you know how many touchdowns he scored that year? He scored like 16, 17 touchdowns because he had a bet. He had a bet with Andy Reid and said if he scores 18 touchdowns, Andy Reid was going to have to wear some tights in front of the press. He was going to have to wear, like, remember everybody had on the body tights, the track tights? The bet was if he scored 18 touchdowns, Andy Reid was going to have to wear track tights to practice, like a full body suit. That was the bet. I think he ended up with like 15, 16 touchdowns that year. Don't tell me, even with diva behavior, if you balling, you balling. And somehow the message got flipped. Somehow the message got screwed up. Somehow him and Donovan couldn't get along and you messed up a good thing. Donovan McNabb, and Donovan can be goofy and he ain't exempt from criticism. But Donovan says something that was, I always remember him saying that. And I was like, if he ain't never said nothing true, he said it right there. He said, why would I want Terrell Owens to leave? We could have set records together. And he was 100% right because couldn't nobody stop T.O. He was that good. T.O. had 100-something yards and 2 touchdowns with a broke leg. He was that good. Egos got in the way. Egos got in the way. So saying all of that to say, I understand what we have right now. And I don't want to mess it up. I don't want A.J. Brown to go nowhere. And I made my little plea the other day. Like, yo, AJ, bro, I know a lot of people on your back, but not here. Coach Marcus, Eagles alum, I'll see you at Alumni Day at practice. Bro, I will be there. And, dude, I'm on your side, bro. I want to see 1K open all day in Philadelphia green until you done playing ball. That's what I want to see. I don't give a damn what anybody say. It might not happen because I understand the nature of the beast. I know how this business works. So it might not happen. But I said it just so I can put it out on tape. I want AJ Brown here. I don't care what he did. He ain't beating on women. He ain't at the clubs. He ain't doing all of that nonsense. He ain't getting arrested going 85 in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. He ain't doing dumb shit like that. He keeps his nose clean and he gets in and does his work. This was arguably his worst year as a pro, and he still got over 1,000 yards. And he was right. The passing offense wasn't working. And they crucified him for saying it. So, yeah, he takes shots at Hurts, passive aggressive. That's a personality issue. But guess what? Y'all have no idea some of the shit we used to say to each other in the locker room. Bruh. You have no clue. Because at the end of the day, we still had some games where he was getting the ball and he was doing work. So, and people forget that. People want to say it was a disconnect with AJ and Jalen, but what about the games where it wasn't? What about the games where he did put in work? Was the disconnect still there? Like, what was happening? That's why when I look at the situation, and then you got to factor in everything. You got to take everything into account. Everything into account. Jalen has to shoulder the most of the blame because he's the quarterback. He's QB1. That's what comes with that contract. That's what comes with that position. But it's not all his fault. And y'all, you've been rocking with me long enough. You know where I stand on this situation. Donovan takes some blame. Lord have mercy. Jalen takes some blame. Kevin Patullo takes even more blame. But guess what? If our offensive line could block worth a damn last season, if we could run block, that changes things. So the offensive line, their performance was a big ass reason why we couldn't get things going in the passing game, in my opinion. If you can't run, that means you can't do any play action. If you can't do any play action, that means you can't hold the linebackers. If you can't hold the linebackers, that means you damn sure ain't gonna hold the safeties. Makes things a little bit harder. And now all of a sudden, he uncoachable. Get the hell out of here with that nonsense. Y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. So, Kwame, that's a valid point. However, this is where I ask myself the question. Is it Jalen? Or is it the system? Because there was a point in time where we wasn't worried about this from Jalen because he was hitting AJ in stride and he was making the right reads and he was doing everything he was supposed to be. Remember what he did with Shane Steichen? Hold on. Like, people forget that year with Shane Steichen, and I believe that was 22. That was the second year. That's when Nick Sirianni backed off the offense. Remember that first year, it was Steichen and Sirianni together. That second year, Sirianni kind of backed up and let Steichen run the ship, run the offense anyways. And then that's when Jalen just went off. So no matter what, any AJ trade will be. I don't agree with that. If we still trade AJ to the Patriots, that'll be suspect. And it's not even that it's suspect. The whole situation with Dianna Russini, and I'll say it again. Should Mike Vrabel be suspended because he was smashing Dianna Russini? No. Should he be suspended if he was providing her information that would help or hurt the trade of AJ Brown? Yes. Because by the letter of the law, isn't that tampering? That's what I want to get in. That's the weeds I want to get into. But nobody's brought that up, especially not in the NFL. That's what I want to figure out. That's where you have the conflict of interest. You got two grown folks doing grown folks things. It ain't no law against that. Now, you can be the moral police if you want to. That's a whole separate conversation. But because now you got to be honest, if she getting the information straight from Vrabel, that's you getting it from the horse's mouth, literally. So now, do you look at the situation like Dianna Russini got a lot to say about what they're doing with the Patriots? Now, you consider the source, and it's like, well, damn, does that mean most of her information was true? That's the problem I have with the NFL. If Vrabel gets through this scot-free, that's the problem I have. Because now, Vrabel was the snitch. Vrabel was the snitch. If Vrabel was giving the information to Dianna Russini because of the relationship they had, Vrabel is the snitch in his own locker room. He's the one feeding information to make it a better situation for the Patriots. I guess to get AJ cheaper. That's tampering. That's a problem. That's the problem I have with it. I don't care if they were screwing each other. That's going to work itself out one way or the other. Half is shit, Your Honor. So either his wife is coming for it or her husband is coming for it, or both. Remember that cartoon? Remember the cartoon with Bugs Bunny and it was like Bugs Bunny and a buzzard or something, and something happened and they shook hands and became friends, and it was like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. They shook hands and they battled against something else. But the point I'm making is that you had two ops, and then they found a common enemy, and they shook hands and they went at it together. Is that what happened with her husband and his wife? I don't know, because we still don't know who hired the PI, and we'll probably never know that. But I know this. Do you believe the reports that whoever took those pictures did not know who Dianna Russini was? Because if they didn't, if those reports are true, then it had to come from Vrabel's wife or somebody. I'm just saying. It could be. It could be. But guess what? She's been saying that for years. For years. But at the end of the day, we don't know. We don't know. But guess what? Free Shake Shack burgers and fries for everybody. Exactly. Exactly. I agree with that. So if the Patriots never had the whole film and practice scandal and all that kind of stuff, Belichick would have been in. But Belichick, basically, he gonna get in the Hall of Fame. He should have been the first ballot Hall of Famer. But guess what? Because he acted like an ass, that's what you get. Listen, he ain't gonna get no sympathy from me. I'm from Cincinnati, bro. I had to watch them not put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame on some bullshit. So I don't care what he did. All them old school dudes that's in the Hall of Fame that were racist and didn't want to play against black players, all of that stuff. It's cool that they in. All them people that was doing drugs and beating their wives and all of that type, all of them people in. Babe Ruth was notorious for some of the shit that he did. He in. So stop playing with that. And you can't let Pete Rose. Pete Rose is a part of baseball. He changed the game. For better or for worse, he changed the game. But you know what? He got more hits than anybody else. So you got to put the asterisk by it and keep it real. Because guess what? When he was breaking them records, again, y'all didn't want to get none of that money back, did you? So, miss me with all of that, man. Appreciate you giving out the buns. Listen, man. Listen, don't everybody get a turn, man. Everybody get a turn to do something stupid. It might not manifest in you cheating on your wife or abusing kids, but everybody get a turn to do something stupid. So no, but it is what it is. People do dumb shit, man. People do dumb shit. Yeah, man. Let Pete in. Bruh. Thank you. All these DraftKings and betting parlays and all of that kind of stuff. Oh my God. So, it is what it is. So, but, as far as, back to Dan LeBatard and all that kind of stuff, man, listen, that's the way it goes. And Dan was like passionate about it. Like, I thought he was going to cry at one point. And I was like, dude, it's like, just call it like you see it. It is what it is. She can still be your friend. She can still be your friend, but you still got to tell the truth. You ain't never been with your friend and be like, yo, I was fucked up, dude. I was messed up. I was like really messed up. You ain't never had a friend tell you that? Again, because everybody get a turn. Everybody get a turn. Any chance he's in the Russini files? I have not, Fredo. I have not seen any Smitty stuff. My bad. I have not seen any Smitty stuff. But I know I don't need to see that from Smitty. I know he gonna handle his business. I know he gonna take this opportunity regardless of what happens. Listen, man, we got lunch pail dudes, man. Regardless of what people think of AJ Brown. AJ Brown is a lunch pail bro. He put his hat on and he go to work. Whatever it requires. If you need me to dig, I'm gonna dig. That's the type of dude he is. He gonna put in the work. Smitty is the same way. We lucky that we got two prime receivers. We got two number one receivers right there. And people forget that. We got a situation on offense where you have to make a choice. And if you are a defense, ain't none of the choices good. You got to choose AJ. You got to choose Smitty. You got to choose Dallas. You got to choose Jalen. You got to choose Saquon. 5-headed dragon. That's Tiamat right there. Shout out to all the D&D references. We had an offense where you had to make a choice. The Chiefs just knew if they stopped Saquon, they could beat Jalen Hurts. Surprise. You got that one wrong. Oh, he can throw the deep ball too, can't he? Oh, he can read a defense and find the open man. Oh, he can throw the ball across the middle. All them things that he's supposed to be struggling in, we didn't struggle. We got it done. And we got it done in the best way possible. And we got it done at the most important time. So don't tell me he can't do it. It goes back to that again. Don't tell me he can't do it. So everybody can keep up with the narratives and all that kind of stuff. Watch and see what happens. I truly believe him and Mannion are going to mesh this year because they speak the language. Mannion is 3 years removed from playing in the NFL, having a helmet, being on the sidelines. He ain't lost all that muscle memory yet. Not yet. So he can speak the language. If they keep AJ with everybody else they have signed, that wide receiver core is nasty. It's going to be good if he leaves, but it's going to be nasty if he stays. That's all I'm saying. And the new dude they signed from Green Bay, that was a good move because he's going to explain Sean Manion's offense. to the receivers. It's the same thing. If you go back, it's the same thing when we signed, when we got Donovan McNabb. When we drafted Donovan McNabb, what did Andy Reid do? He signed Doug Peterson from Green Bay. Doug Peterson was not a good starting quarterback, but he knew the offense. And his job was to teach Donovan McNabb the offense. And when he's ready to take the baton, he took it and he ran with it. He ran with it. So that's Dontavian, that's his name. We had 128 yards today, Tiff. That's what's up. Let me see. Hold on. I'm going to see. I think I had more than that. I'm going to see. I'm going to look at my stats here real quick. Let me see. So officially, Tiff, 159 yards rushing today. Good day. 159 yards rushing. That was my peak. So for those of you who are new, I'm always looking. I count the number of active viewers on my stream watching at one time. I liken that to a football game. I'm a running back, so I want to get at least 100 yards rushing. So the YouTube analytics will track what you peaked at, the most amount of people you had watching you. And today is 100 and what did I just say? 154 yards rushing. That's what I think. 159. So that's what we got. 159 yards rushing today. So that's a good day. That's a good day on the ground. That's a good day on the ground. I appreciate that, Tiff. Thank you for the reminder. Every time that's a reminder. So, Tiff, I like to say better than yesterday, not as good as tomorrow. So, make sure all of y'all hit the like button too. And if you're not subscribed to me, why not? Please subscribe. So, yeah, it's going up and down. It's going up and down. So, but we dropping down a little bit. But I think that's all I got. I didn't got enough out of Dan LeBatard. I'm gonna keep watching the show. Like I said, I'm a fan of LeBatard. I ain't got to agree with everything, but I still like listening to some of these guys. And again, the greatest invention known to man is the on-off switch. If you don't like something, just turn it off. Just turn it off. You ain't got to crash out on nobody. You ain't got to crash out on nobody. So next week is going to be a lot of mock drafts next week. So stay tuned. A lot of mock drafts. Tomorrow, I'm probably not going to be on. I think tomorrow what I'm going to do is, because the WNBA draft is tomorrow, I'm going to be live streaming that. And that's going to start at like 6:30. So that's going to be my live stream, but I'm going to have that on both channels. I'm going to simulcast that on Pro Fan Talk and Pro Fan Hoops, I think. I'm trying to get more. I'm trying to start doing more exclusive stuff with Pro Fan Hoops. So, but big stuff I like to do on both channels. So, but you know what? Nah, I think I'm going to do that one on. I'm going to stick with, you know what? Let me continue to do what I've been doing. Pro Fan Hoops tomorrow for the basketball stream, for the WNBA draft. So, let me see. Did I see what Adam who? Adam Kaplan? Adam who? I don't know which Adam you're talking about. So, but all right, that'll be enough Russini Vrabel talk unless something big happens in the next couple days. Adam Schefter. Oh, no, I did not hear what Adam Schefter said. What did he say? Or are you talking about the comment where he said Justin Herbert and somebody else, Justin Herbert and Josh Allen, I think it was, signed their extensions 2 weeks after Jalen's, but nobody said anything about them. If that's what you're talking about, I did hear that. Yes. And that's a great point. Which, again, go Joe Burrow. Thank you. Burrow and Herbert. And nobody's mentioned anything about them getting extensions and all of that type of stuff. So, again, it's a narrative about Jalen Hurts for whatever reason. Everybody want to try to find a way to hurt him. Is Joe Burrow a much better quarterback than Jalen Hurts? The talent is there, but he ain't won nothing. And I'm saying that. I'm from Cincinnati, so you know I love my Bengals. I'm who they all day. But if Joe Burrow had been to the Super Bowl twice in 3 years, they'd be trying to already put him in the Hall of Fame. They would already be making his bust. Already. Because that's how they do. But every time Jalen does something, they try to find a way to ding him for something. Every time. So, it is what it is. Kwame, you get it. You understand it. You know how the sausage is made, dog. What I just say, you ain't got to sugarcoat it. You know how the sausage is made. Yeah, I know what it is, man. It's a lot better than it was, man. But guess what? I grew up and I saw the Bengals go to the Super Bowl twice. I saw them go once with Kenny Anderson. We lost to Joe Montana. And then I saw with Boomer Esiason, we lost to Joe Montana. Both times. I saw it during the Icky Shuffle days. We was a minute 30 seconds away from a parade in Cincinnati, and we didn't get it. We didn't get it. So, but yeah, we had some good teams back then, back in the jungle. I tell people all the time, I bleed green, but I was born in the jungle. Who they all day. But in any case, man. So again, man, y'all I'm very appreciative, man, of everybody that jumps in the chat. I'm seeing an uptick in the quality of conversations we are having. So I can't wait to start Wednesday. We're going to have the same type of conversations, except on Wednesday, I get to drop the link for you and you get to come on the show and tell me how you really feel. So I'm trying to cultivate that because I got aspirations. I want to get to, once I start getting, 100 yards a game, if I can average a week when I got 100 yards a game for the week, then I want to start getting to 200. I want to get up to 150. Then I want to get up to 200. Then I want to get up to 300. Then 1,000. And you see what I'm saying? But we got to start somewhere. Baby steps, one step at a time. So, but we getting there. We getting there. What I need y'all to do is make sure you subscribe. Right? Make sure you click on that like button. If you are watching me on the phone, make sure you hit that swipe button or that hype button. That's part of the algorithm now. And most importantly, man, when you get done with watching this and you jump off, tell somebody about this podcast. Bring a friend. Bring your spouse. Bring your play cousin. If you down at the hotel where Russini and Vrabel was, tell them down there. And I'll say the same thing. All y'all got homework. If you in the chat right now, you got homework. Your homework is when you go to work tomorrow. Your homework is to tell everybody on your job, like, yo, I found this dude on YouTube. He used to play with the Eagles. He's a running back, but he talks about all types of sports, all trending sports, but he keeps it real, keeps it 100. You got to check him out. That's your homework. Bring a friend. All right? I'm going to get up out of here, man. Been a long one. We've been rocking for a little bit over an hour. The conversation has been freaking fire. Fire. What's up, A. Brown? I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I will keep doing that. I appreciate your feedback. Yeah, man. Nothing but love, man. My squad continues to grow. And we're going to keep doing that, man. Much love. Thank you, Tiff. Appreciate you. Kwame, A. Brown, Arthur, Tiffany, Nathan, Afrado, everybody that's in the chat, everybody that's participating. Roots and Bark. Everybody, man. If I don't call you, charge it to my head, not my heart. In Conquest. Everybody that was in the chat, man. I like to have conversations, not monologues. So appreciate you. Keep it coming. And I'm gonna keep working. I'm always working on graphics. I'm always working on new stuff to try to make it live and to try to make it better. Did y'all notice that I got my my thumbnail in the background now? Just doing little stuff, man, to make it live. Little stuff to make it live, man. That's what's up. So I'm about to get up out of here, man. Enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. Chill out. Make sure y'all have a phenomenal week of work. Tune in Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9 p.m. Let me repeat that. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9 p.m. Tomorrow, we're going a little bit early because it's the WNBA draft. So I will be getting started right around 6 o'clock-ish. The draft starts at 7. So I'll be doing that. And then I'll circle back. Justin, appreciate you, bro. Thank you for joining my squad. I'm going to circle back around on Wednesday, 9 p.m. I'm going to be dropping the link so you can come on the show and give your 2-minute takeover. And then Thursday, we'll be doing the same thing. And next Saturday, I'm going to be going at 9 a.m. in the morning again. The numbers yesterday morning were off the friggin' charts. They were off the charts. So y'all keep talking to me about what you like, the times that you like, and I will keep adjusting to make it work for you. Because I can't work if you don't work. If it don't work for you, it don't work for me. All right? So again, I appreciate all y'all in the chat. Don't be a stranger. Bring a friend next time. You know what your homework assignment is, and we're going to keep this thing moving. I appreciate it. I love you. God bless you. On to the next one. And as usual, go Birds.
Yeah. Yo, 2026 and the link is feeling cold. Stories of a super runner getting kinda old. Jalen under fire, say his vision's getting tight. Calling them uncoachable every single night. AJ in the tray, got me in my field. Mr. Hollywood is the brownest on the field. Man, he ain't calling plays, I'll be searching for the spark. Eagles flying solo, hunting shadows in the dark. Vrabel and Russini trying to launch a master plan. Ever since the photos got you sitting with the fans. Draft day approaching, how we sitting on this perch. Gotta fill some holes, so you know he's on the search. 10 toes down with the Eagles on the scene. Watching out for Cap, cause your boy is bleeding green. Searching through the trending topics, info moving slow. Pro fan talk, always keep you in the know. Pro fan talk. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. Pro fan talk. Where the real ones bar. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all. Pro fan talk. Hit the bell, that's law. Break it down from the film to the box score raw. Pro fan talk. Where the real ones bar. From the birds to the league, we gon' cover it all.